I just wanted to say we accidentally had a miscommunication last week, and some people did not hop on the last Wednesday morning call. So that was part of why we didn't have a project call. But we will make up for that in the coming weeks, and just wanted to be transparent with everybody. It was like a miscommunication of which calls, and it when it just didn't happen. So we're sorry about that, but we'll go ahead and give some of the development updates from last week on this call, and I'll just go ahead and hand it off to Ryan so you can kind of explain some of the stuff that we've been working on.
Yeah, for sure. So outside of a lot of really cool UI improvements that I think really kind of tie together a lot of the like on hovers and different things you can kind of do on the site, the big things we've been focused on are both on kind of the order creation and like purchasing of the order specifically to add ERC 1155 support. So we're adding support right now to be able to see all your 1155s in the Universe Marketplace My NFTs page. From there, you'll be able to list those NFTs for sale on the market, along with the ability to choose a royalty split with up to 5 wallets. So when you list an NFT for sale or create a bid, you'll actually be able to define 5 different addresses that could receive a portion of that sale. On the other side of that, that kind of opens up a whole bunch of integrations that would allow other marketplaces and a whole host of other kind of content to plug right into Universe and be able to actually receive a kind of a an incentive for leading users over to our platform. So I think that's really, really cool. And then just to touch a little bit more on the 1155 support, the big thing there is that you'll be able to list like as many NFTs in your wallet for sale of that token ID. So you don't have to go and sign like 100 messages or anything like that to list 100 1155s for sale. You could just list all 100 of those at once. And then somebody could, buy them in chunks, or they could buy the whole lot, or however they want to do it. But that's a feature I'm really excited about, and we've been pushing really hard to get those partial fills supported and the kind of entire 1155 setup out there. I think that kind of covers the major things that we've been working at. There's a whole host of other things, including the massive database migration that's been underway.
Yep.
And, I don't want to talk too much about kind of the benefits of this, but ultimately, it opens us up to do a lot of things that will speed up the marketplace, both in terms of like browsing the site, but also with others who plug into it, like Genie and Gem and so forth, to be able to kind of really, really integrate with us as best as possible.
And it'll
I think
really optimize the whole site together. So there's a lot of things that database migration is going to help with, and that's been quite a lift, but we're coming in closer on being able to push a lot of that out.
Yep. Outside of the speed, I think Mark's kind of hinting at the fact that this database migration allows us to open up a whole host of new trait filtering supports and these really awesome aggregated queries, to use some techno babble, but that ultimately allow us to tie kind of all the data on the site together and kind of give you guys all the best features. I think I can hand it over to Zach to give some updates on the polymorphs, because there's a whole host of cool things in the works on that side as well.
Yeah, so I've been busy making sure that the polymorphs are continuing to be dope, and we've actually been working with some animators and some comedians on. You might have to piece together the alpha from other calls, but we're bringing the polymorph, um, the characters to life in a really entertaining and special way, and I think it's gonna like help a lot with just giving holders something to look forward to, as far as seeing their precious little polymorphs um, be involved in some like real life situations. And so that's all I'm gonna say about that part. And the only reason I'm being short is because I really want it to be um, a surprise, and I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. Besides that, I've been talking about Burn to Mint for a minute. We're finally coming in on the final stages of getting that worked through. So in the next couple weeks, we'll have a really cool initiative to get everybody to migrate over to this new contract that obviously allows for more functionality with your polymorphs, and there's some other things bunched in there as well. With that, I guess I mean I can drop the faces alpha in here. I might as well, unless anybody is opposed to me doing that. But um, basically, burning your polymorph will give you basically a claim pass for the polymorphic faces, and you'll be able to claim for free on a one-to-one basis a polymorphic face, which also will have the same like scramble technology. So you'll be able to come up with some really cool combinations, and there might be some game theory involved there. So I'm really excited about that. That's pretty much all I can talk about on the polymorph side right now. Which is basically, I mean, I feel like that's a lot.
Yeah, if you know anything about us, we like game theory. We like putting the choice in the community's hands of what you do with your polymorph. So I think there's a lot of probably ideas and speculation once we release a lot of this info. But one thing we do want to be clear about is a lot of people did buy the polymorphs with the intent knowing that like they would be able to be scrambled, and we did have to turn that off. That feature of scrambling, if you do ever want to do that again, you are going to have to migrate to the new contracts. But I mean, that's to say, is if everyone migrates over, what does that say to the polymorphs that stay on the original contract? I don't know. I think that's part of the game theory, and we'll see what happens when it happens. But we just want to be clear that is like you for sure are going to have to migrate to be able to, do a lot
Yeah.
of the utility, like Zach said.
And you will have time to migrate. Like it's not like it's going to close in any set amount of time. In the contract, I made sure that we built in the ability for the DAO to vote to close the burn to mint, and also that would mean closing the eligibility for claiming your faces. So, and there's also some of the scrambling mechanics that are slightly modified, and I'm not going to go into that, but we're kind of ramping up the game theory on polymorphs.
But
So you
as
might
of
be
right
able to.
now, the plan is to just leave that mint open, and then like if the DAO does say like, hey, like it's been 2 years, like let's actually close this down. That's kind of what Zach's saying. But the plan is to leave it in open until the DAO decides otherwise. But we are definitely adding that function to be able to shut down this migration at some point in time. But only the DAO vote can call that function.
Yeah. So that's about it on polymorph side of things. I think we can head into the questions on this forum. I only saw
Okay,
one.
sick.
If you guys have
Do you
any
want to read it
questions in the
for us, Zach?
audience right now, if anybody has questions in the audience right now, go ahead and I mean you can just drop them in the pre-AMA or you can head to that forum link, but either one works for me. 1 second.
I think what's easiest for everyone is honestly like once the call starts is definitely pre-AMA chat.
Yeah.
I think the forum's a great place for pre-questions, a place to start, but I think it's just easier versus
Yeah,
having to
so
refresh the page every 5 seconds.
this for the one question we do have on here is it possible to find the roadmap somewhere? Possible to make public so we know what the current progress is. And this person is especially interested in the white label solution that can be used to connect to Universe, which I think we've like dropped some alpha on in the past AMAs. So I think as far as the
Yeah,
roadmap goes,
so we
knowledge.
do have an internal development roadmap, but the best way to answer this is we probably are not. Okay, so our personal, like we have an internal roadmap, obviously for like development and building and making progress. And that's not like the best thing to just give out to the community. but we have been trying to build an actual roadmap that can explain kind of how we're going through this process. But the way that we're really doing these development sprints is like 1 and 2 week sprints and pushing a few things live as soon as we're done and everything gets kind of pushed together in these sprints. What we've been doing has been doing these weekly updates, and we haven't actually had the last 2 weeks, we haven't done weekly updates because this sprint wasn't a weekly sprint. It was more of a 2 week sprint that got a little bit blocked and turned into a 3 week sprint. So we are going to push out some things, I'm believing, next week, and we'll be doing another progress update for the marketplace. But it's hard for us to give exact timelines. Like, we can announce what we've finished and what our current priorities are, so that, and we'll give those updates every week or every 2 weeks as much as we can. We've tried to put together like an overall roadmap, but we are building just like this massive tool, and like things we've even talked about building last year that we've actually made progress on, they're just not the current priorities. So like, if you wanted us to build a roadmap for Universe, like, we are this big picture thing. I don't think us building a roadmap is going to help for this situation. I think the best thing to keep doing is just giving as much information as we can on the weekly updates. We will definitely try to build as big of a roadmap as possible so that people see the long-term goals of Universe. But a lot of those things still in our original white paper are things that we want to accomplish. And, we're still going to stick to our guns and what we originally set out to do. So, but we hear the community about the roadmap. It's not the easiest thing to just be like, okay, this is exactly when this is coming, just because of the way this process has been so far.
Fiddy asks, when one of one takeover? It's already begun.
Nice. Yeah, I think honestly, with a lot of these, I think we're really seeing it. I think a lot of one pieces are really starting to take the spotlight in the NFT space, where we're seeing PFP projects. Maybe, there's a lot of drama going on right now. We've all saw what happened with the Zookies. I mean, despite what you think about that, it's not like the best look for, PFP like team run projects. I think some people are taking a little bit more favoritism now into like one of one artists, where they're like, okay, I can go and support this artist, I can trust this artist, versus like this anonymous team that could rug pull. I think it's a different optic. You think, okay, these people care about their art. They're putting their heart and soul into this. It's not just a money grab. So, I mean, Zach, would you add anything to that? I mean, you're an artist, I think, and a one of one artist. I mean, you're a photographer. I mean, photography is still one of one. I don't think that anyone can take two of the same photos.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that like that really comes down to, I mean, Fiddy's my friend, so it was probably more of a meme question, but in reality, like, being a successful artist is the same as in the Web3 like NFT space, is kind of the same as being a successful artist in general, right? Like, you have to build an audience that cares about your work, and that takes years and years and years. I mean, look at Beeple. Like, nobody cared about his work until 13 or 14 years into him doing everydays.
Yeah, it was
So
after the 10,000 everydays.
right. It was like
That's like
13 years of every
20
day
years.
making a piece. And like, I watch a lot of interviews on him actually. He's super inspiring for me, not just because he made a buttload of money, but because his like practice behind doing those everydays comes from just putting something out and not like letting your ego get in front of like sharing your work. And Tyler says it all the time, like, don't let like great to the end of being good. And like that's kind of Beeple's whole mantra is like he'll talk about dropping pieces that maybe, you know, he has to finish a piece within the day and maybe he only has an hour and maybe it sucks, but he's going to put it out anyways because he made something. So that's what I like about one of one artists, but it definitely takes time. And there's definitely not, it's definitely people come into the NFT space and are like, oh, like I see all these artists pulling in 10 ETH off a piece, like I'm gonna do it too. Like, good luck. You got to build an audience first, regardless of if you're selling a physical print or an NFT.
But I think that's the real opportunity here of Web3 that a lot of artists see is, like I don't have to have my studio in
Right.
in St. Petersburg, Florida, and hope for everyone to come in and see this on the corner of St. Petersburg, Florida. I now have a medium, this NFT that I can put on the internet and anyone can see on
Yeah, I mean
OpenSea
that's
or
what
Universe.
crypto does in general for everything, whether it be DeFi or art. It's lowering the barrier to entry for you know, tools that regular people typically don't have in traditional systems. So if you don't have the funding to, you know, it costs a lot of money to make a huge, you know, 3 foot wide archival print that gets hung in a museum. That, you know, that costs a lot more money to make than minting and deploying an NFT contract. So it really does lower the barrier of entry, which is great. All I'm saying is like it's very similar to being successful in the traditional art world as well.
I just want to say one more thing, and then we can move on to the next question. But someone had brought this up to me because, like, I like how you were talking about like comparing the canvas and like the supplies to like the mint price and how it's cheaper. Like, think about how many times like someone has like drawn on a piece of paper and like crumpled it up and thrown it away. Um, like creating digital art or gives you the ability to like not destroy that medium or have to like pay $35 for a canvas where you could potentially fuck up. Like, you can create this art and then be like, okay, this shit is finished. Like, now I have this one time cost to mint. I don't have to like do a trial run and be like, okay, this isn't exactly what I had envisioned or pictured. And I think that is a super powerful opportunity as well for artists, that they don't have to worry about this like, am I gonna fuck up, and like, am I gonna have to go buy another canvas or more paint, because those things cost money.
Yeah, especially once there's more services that are like helping artists develop their ideas in the like on top of Ethereum. I think that we'll see a lot more like prestigious one of one artists move over and even start, you know, a lot of one of one a lot of artists don't like agree with NFTs right now, but I think eventually they'll start to realize that like it's a great way to prove the authenticity of a physical piece too. Like
I just like to say,
imagine if
anyone that doesn't agree with the NFTs, it's like not agreeing with the canvas or a piece of paper. Like, all the NFT is a medium, essentially it's a file or some sort of way that
right. Imagine if
represents
like
ownership.
Picasso had like this technology and he was able to tie his pieces of artwork to a token. There would probably be a lot less fraudulent activity going on in the art space with that.
Yep. All right, so we could probably just move on to the next question. I think that was a really good, like, good points that I made out of that meme question.
I'm not sure if we have another question, but maybe it's a good time to bring up that we do have a proposal in the warm up phase. Um, so be on the lookout for that. I think we have like what 18 more hours in warm
Do
up.
you want to go over some of what's in that proposal and what we're voting on, just so the community can um, be
Sure.
aware?
Let me navigate to it really quick. So this is PID number 8. It deals with a little bit of like branding and outreach, and then some marketplace upgrades. So first of all, we're proposing to reduce the on-chain marketplace fees from 1.69 to 1%. We had a pretty extensive discussion on forum about that. I think that most of us agree that it's a good idea to bring that fee down with the things that we plan to do in the future. With the marketplace, also adding payment tokens. We also had a pretty extensive discussion about that, and we think this is a good initiative to kind of bring other communities and have things come full circle back to Universe. So we have a pretty long list of tokens that we're proposing to add. It's Ape, Asto, Bond, Aave, League, Stand, Mana, Silo, Axie, Ash, Enter, Illuvium, Link, FTT, and Synthetics. Um, so we'll start with those, and then like if anybody in the future wants to see more tokens available for use on the marketplace, then we can have another forum discussion about that and get it pushed into proposal. And then the last thing is transferring 100K worth of ETH to Monster Cat for NFT NYC. I actually just had a call last week with Monster Cat, and we're doing some cool like branding initiative things at the party itself. And also, I'm gonna be continuing. Like, I live in New York, so like I'm gonna continue to work with them on trying to get some like polymorphs to show face at other events that Monster Cat is like partnering with. But specifically at this NFT NYC party, where I'm helping. I gave them a pretty big folder of assets to use, and like they have, it's like a music like DJ event with a bunch of like art on a huge screen like behind the DJ. So we're definitely going to see some Charles on there, and then I also have them. It's either going to be, we're waiting on confirmation from the venue, but we're either going to have a bunch of polymorphs, like custom polymorph cups. So like everybody that gets a drink at this venue will have like a naked Charles on their cup. Or if they won't let us do that, then we're going to do like the cocktail napkins or something else. But my main goal with this is to like get the universe branding as elevated as possible, not just on the polymorph side, but also like the universe XYZ branding. So that, you know, everybody that attends this can will be aware of the brand. And it's the same deal as last time we did this. Like if you pull up to New York for this, it's at Webster Hall on the 19th, I believe, of June.
Yeah,
If you pull up and you
Webster
have a
Hall on the
lobster,
19th.
yeah, if you got a lobster or a polymorph, you get them for free. And if you don't have a lobster or polymorph and you're in this chat and you pull up to New York and you shoot me a DM and tell me why you want to come to this party, I'm sure I can help you get in.
Also, last year when we did NFT NYC, we had a ticket claim basically. I through Ticket Fairy, I believe it was. I'm not completely sure. It's probably going to be Monster Cat's decision on how that is handled, but from what I understand, that went very well last year for the claim of the Ticket Fairy tickets, and I think we may go that route this year again, but I'm not completely sure. I'm just because it's not going to be like you show your polymorph at the door and get in. It last year it was you had to claim with Wallet Connect through Ticket Fairy, and then essentially you got a free ticket, and they emailed it to you, and then your email was how you get in. But
Yeah,
that's
I think
just
it'll be the
because the
same.
venue has a limited amount of people, so obviously I think the venue holds 20. I want to say 2,200, 2,500 people, maybe less. But not every polymorph holder is going to be able to go, but that's why the RSVP is important. But obviously, we understand not everyone's going to be able to go to NYC. But that's why we also open it up to the lobby lobsters.
Yeah, and they document these. They're going to be documenting this party, and I've already like expressed to Monster Cat the universe community's concerns on like handing over or donating that money for this like activation. And so like I'm basically pushing to make sure that everything that comes out about this party after, whether it be the YouTube videos or just the branding in general, has the universe branding involved. And yeah, so it should be pretty sweet, and we should get some good looks from it. It was
Yeah,
a fun party
honestly,
last year.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I think from a brand perspective, last year, partnering with Monster Cat and doing that party was definitely good. Was great for the brand. I think that sponsoring these events is important and getting Universe out there. Um, but what it also does is like we do meet a lot of people here. People do want to come and enjoy these parties, but I mean, essentially a lot of like getting to go and have a party in New York, you meet builders. I mean, Brooklyn's one of the biggest crypto hubs in the world, and it's these are great events for exposure on the brand, and people get to learn about new things, and that's essentially why we target NFT NYC for these events as well.
I see one question about the payment structure for partners and how the fees work. I think I can touch on that just a little bit. And essentially, it's that the partners will be able to choose their own fee structure. We won't really have any control over that. So a partner can go and basically set up a 5% fee or a 10% fee when orders are created from their market. Because those orders are created from their market, their users will have to agree to whatever fee that market sets up. So obviously, they can't go and charge egregious fees. But ultimately, the payment structure is flexible in those white label partner hands. The same is true on the bid side as well, that basically any bids created on that platform will be able to be purchased on Universe or filled on Universe, sorry, and will pay out to that white label marketplace. So essentially a whole lot of flexibility for anybody who wants to integrate the payment splits.
Richie Rich said polymorph cups sound up. Yeah, I'm trying to get Naked Charles to go home with everybody. NFT
Yeah,
NYC.
honestly, I've been trying to convince Zach that we need like a maybe like 100 NFT collection of like a Charles in the nude kind of like maybe partnership with Playboy kind of thing. Really get that shit blown up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
No, yeah, I'm
real
definitely
skin
trying to make it.
Charles, just like oh man.
Definitely trying to send people home with a naked Charles accessory from NFT NYC. So you got to pull up for that one, the IRL airdrop.
Okay. Do we have any more questions, or does anyone in the audience like want to raise their hand and come up and ask a question?
One thing I will say is you guys better be signing this guest book in the Charles Mansion.
Oh damn. I never went.
I don't know. It's you can sign it whenever. I'm not saying it's urgent or it's a
Oh,
rush,
I've already signed the
but
guest
it's
book.
probably better to get your signature in sooner than later. Because I don't know
Yeah,
if you
and
guys see this dope marijuana backpack, but uh, yeah, we got them. We got them, and we got
yeah, we are
universe
definitely
jetpacks.
working on bringing the polymorphs to all the metaverses. We've been working on that for quite a while now, and I think we're approaching some we're approaching game time on that. I think we're going to eventually be able to play with our polymorphs. We've been trying not to leak any of the what do we even call that, Zach, that we were playing with the other day? Those like rooms where we're like running around, jumping around.
Oh, it was just the Unreal Playground. Yeah. So yeah, polymorphs are definitely fully functional in game engines.
And they're already
That's
looking
all.
good. We're just trying to optimize them more because like you build those rigs, they look good, but then like the more speed and motion and random shit you add on, the more kind of like I don't like to use the word optimization for this, but like you kind of do have to almost optimize some of the 3D models, and they really start to look good after a lot of reworking. But it's been a lot of
Yeah,
fun dealing with.
we have high poly versions, which is like the versions that I use when I make those like just silly polymorph renders. And then like we have mid poly versions that can be used in certain game engines, and then like we're in the process of building like super low poly versions that will have like baked materials so that they still look really good, but can like uh less capable engines can handle them essentially. I'm trying.
Well, if we don't have any more questions, we can go ahead and wrap this up. We appreciate everyone for coming in and joining our AMAs. If you guys have any questions that may have not gotten answered on this AMA, we'll go ahead and post a forum either today or tomorrow so that we can get some questions coming in for the next AMA. And then you guys are free to post in the pre-AMA channel all week long. So we appreciate everyone for joining, and hopefully everything got answered and everyone is ready for what the polymorphs in the marketplace has coming in the next few weeks.
Wait, can you not share your screen in stages?
Sadly not.
I have
Wow.
no idea.
Yeah, no screen
Wow.
sharing, no video sharing. It's the one drawback. Two drawbacks.
Yikes. Okay. That's all right.
We'll have
I'll
to see
hold the alpha then.
the alpha leaks for another day. No leaky ship.
Yeah.
Well, not too leaky at least. Had some alpha leaks earlier, I think.
Sweet. All right. I think we're good. Is there any? No, I think we're good.
All right, thanks everyone. See you next week.
Cheers,
All right. I'm
sirs.
going back to DJ Charles to get the vibe back on. So see you there.
Bye, everyone.
Later, everybody.